So hello and welcome back. It is round 3 of the GP1 race for RPR Racing. We're at Silverstone this week. So we're just starting our practice session now, 30 minutes here. Now I do have a few things I need to do on my laptop here, so I may be a bit quiet during practice, but proper commentary will start at the beginning of qualifying here. So we'll just get some on board shots as they go round during quali, and I'll probably not be speaking just as much. And here we go as we get ready to start qualifying now for the British Grand Prix round 3 of Rapid Pixel Racing's GP1 series. Then we'll see how they get on today and see if JL Ellis can take his third win in a row this evening. Let's see who we have coming out of the first here. It looks like a Renault. Let's see if it's Tin Can or Lazo. It is Lazo. That is the first car out on the grid. So what we'll do is we shall just set up to the fastest lap, and then we shall follow Lazo around as he'll be the first to cross the line and set the benchmark in Q1 then today. So we're just going to follow them around here as they go through the first session of qualifying here to see how it is. There we go as Lazo comes through the first sector now. Just going to go on board. Oh, it's a spin just as I switched the onboard, and that has ruined his first flying lap. And has he managed to clip someone with him? Possibly Tommy with him, or did Tommy just spit on his own? Not too sure about that one. So that now means the first round of track will be the Renault, or sorry, the McLaren. So we'll switch to the McLaren then to see what the benchmark times could be. There seems to be a lot of spinning up there in that first section there. I'm not too sure what caused Tommy to spin, if it was on his own or if someone clipped him. I didn't see that there. Saw him running. He has invalidated the lap, so that means we shall have Chubb as the first to set a time in this session here. Let's see what he sets. So 1:27.1. Next across the line will be Brooker Bronco. We'll switch to him just before he crosses the line. He is backed out of his. I don't know if he got in the way of Erez or not. Erez has still gone quicker. Oh, and Brooker receives a 5-place grid penalty there for a collision with Erez. I'm assuming that was round the last corner just before we switched to the two of them to see what was going on. See who else is coming across the line. We have Barry about to cross the line, I think. Oh, about to start his. He just started his flying lap, so he has. We have Rob coming around, I think, to complete a lap. And Rob goes third fastest overall. We also have William Amos coming around to complete his lap. This is he comes up to the last hole, and he has decided to bail his off into the pits. So let's see who's on the lap currently. McLaren here, so we'll see how the McLaren does run his flying lap. sorry I'm a little bit quiet here. There's just a few things I'm trying to get done as quick as possible so I can put full focus into this qualifying. If you give us, I will be quiet for. I will try and get as much on-board footage as possible for you. However, most people are heading into pits. Next round it's going to be Mercedes of Chubb, so we're right on board with Chubb there to see what he can do. Let's see now, who should we get on board? We're going on board with Carl now to see how his next flying lap goes. Let's just ride on board with him now for a little bit longer, and then we'll just see what else is going on. So I just need to see 1 second, guys, just doing this last thing I need to do. Let's see here. see. So let's see, with 5 minutes of Q1 left, we have 2 people without a time on the board, McStuffsface and Avi. They are both on an outlap currently though as we speak, and should be able to get plenty of time to get a lap or 2 in round here. Let's see who else is out on track at the minute. We've Lattice currently sitting in the #1 spot, and I can't see any reason that he will not make it through then to the next session of quality. That'll probably be him in now for the last 5 minutes and just have a quick relax. With Johnny Stokes out on track at the minute, currently sitting in 3rd. It looks like he is just about a quarter to a third of the way around the lap, so we'll just watch the rest of his lap here to see how it goes for him. And he does appear to have backed out of that lap now then. So we'll see who else. Is anyone else out here at the minute? That is the question. I don't think there is at the minute anyone really going for it. See if Chubb, nope, he's coming into the pits. Oh, here we go, someone just started a lap, so we'll just ride on board here to see how this one goes. And he has gone purple in the first sector. That's a good first sector time there. See if we can keep it up through 2 and 3 to get himself up near the top of the times there and safely in the Q2. Oh, and he's just went wide there and invalidated that lap, so he'll back off now and maybe have another go at it. Probably won't have time to get in and out of the pits, so hopefully he has enough fuel on board to give that another go. See if anybody else. Moxley just going into the pits. We've Carl here looking like he's on a hot lap, so let's ride on board with Carl for a while to see how he gets through this middle sector of the track. Nice tight line through there, making sure he's just well within the track. And it's not an improvement from Carter these days where he is. See who else is out. We have Barry out on a lap at the minute. Barry's first race in GP1. He normally races in GP2, but they needed an extra driver trying to fill the grid, so he did offer to step up and take on the challenge. It's not looking too bad for Barry. Oh, he's just invalidated. As I said, it's not looking too bad. He does just invalidate the lap. He will have time to get another go in as well if he wants. Hopefully he has enough fuel on board to do that. See who else is coming out. All the guys near the bottom are coming out now. Perez is still in the pits in the Ferrari area. He is coming out. That will be close if he makes this round to start a lap. He will really have to go for it. On this out lap, there'll be no hanging around from him if he wants to get a lap in here. Let's see, so who's looking like they're going to be first then to start their last? So it looks like Carl is going to be the next one to set a lap time, I think. I don't think anyone else out there is on a flying lap yet. I think they're all on out laps. Oh no, the McLaren here is on a hot lap by the looks of it. So we'll ride on board with McLaren. I think he'll be the next one to set a lap time. And he does just invalidate that lap again there, just coming out of the corner there at the end of the back straight kind of area. So he does get time to have another go at it, so this will be his last attempt. So next across the line is going to be, let's see, who else is on a hot lap? It's going to be Carl. However, Carl doesn't really appear to be going for it on this lap. It looks like he is maybe struggling for fuel load and is out of fuel. So that will be Carl out of the session, then he will not make Q2. Neither will Barry in the other racing point. They are both out in Q1. Let's see who else is coming around. I think it's going to be Lazo. It's going to be next to cross line. And Rob has just retired. So that will be Rob out of the session as well. In 17th place there. Let's see. Let's see if anyone else can avoid the drop at the bottom. And Lazo does a 126. Who else coming across the line? Now we have Woolly Mammoth going to be next across the line in the Alfa Romeo. He's bailed into the pit, so he will not be improving his time. Perez is still going, however, he is not on a flat lap. He's already finished. The only car left on McLaren's out of fuel, so that is it. Nobody else is going to improve in this session, meaning we've lost the 2 racing points, the 2 Alfa Romeos and Brooker Bronco from the session. So with the clock just ticking down, then as that last McLaren gets pushed into the pits, we'll get the results coming up in a minute here to go through them, and we'll see who is eliminated. So the end of Q1 with JR Lattis taking first in Q1 with a 124.3, followed by Tin Can in second, Johnny Stokes in third, Can't Be Touched in fourth, and McDutchface in fifth. Alex is in sixth, with Scotty in seventh, and Erez in eighth, and Abby in ninth. Tony rounds out the top 10 in the Haas. Then 11th we've RPR Chubb, Lazo is in 12th, Alajifia is in 13th, Fujicio in 14th, Monty Perez in 15th, and then being eliminated in Q1 we have Carl in the Racing Point, Rob in the Alfa Romeo, Barry in the other Racing Point, William Mammoth in the other Alfa Romeo, and Brooker Bronco in the McLaren, who did have a 5-place grid penalty, so I have a feeling, but looking at his time being 9 seconds slower than the rest, has chose not to participate in quali here, and he has just chose to start at the back of the grid. So here we go, it's Q2. It does look like it's starting to cloud over. I don't know if we're going to see any rain near the end of quali, but it does appear to start being the cloud over, which could affect obviously the times, the temperature of the track, and how fast or slow they can go and how much grip they can get. So we'll have to wait and see here. See who's going to be first out. It's like a Red Bull is going to be first out of the garage here this time. So they are, so let's try and see who it is and we'll follow them around. It is Ares. Ares is going to be first out of the garage this time, so we'll just watch him as he makes his way around the lap to see what the benchmark is going to be. And remember, now this is where you'll start to see the ultimate strategies from some of the quicker drivers. If they can get round on the medium tyre and get through to Q3 on the medium, that will be the tyre they start the race on. And whatever tyre is the fastest lap time on this particular session, they will start the race on that tyre if they make it into Q3. So you may see some medium runs at the start of this session, and then if they don't get fast enough, they may switch to the soft to make it into Q3. There we go, as he comes around. Oh, there it is, there's a few wee spits of rain, so that is why there's such a rush to make it out on the track. The problem is we still have Monty Perez and Can't Be Touched, Alex and Lattice are both coming out, so we have Can't Be Touched just coming out and Perez still sitting in the pits. So will this rain affect them if they're last out? I don't think it will. I don't think there's enough power in it yet. Well, let's watch Perez going round first on their first flying lap of the session to see how much grip there is out there on track. The DRS is still in operation, so it's obviously not that wet yet. As he does go purple through sector 1, but that would be expected as he is the first person to complete a lap time through there. Quite nice and neat and tidy there through sector 2 as we head up towards the last couple of corners to see what they can do here. As you cross the line, that's a 1:26. Next up we have the McLaren of Chubb, that's a 1:26.4. Then the Tin Can with a 1:25.5. A Haas is next to come through. Tommy does a 1:26.7. Followed by Scotty to start on a lap and the Ferrari to start on a lap. Next across the line is going to be the McLaren. We shall see what he does. A 1:27.2. Lazo's going to be next across with a 1:26.9. Followed by Avi, that's a 1:26.2. And then Scotty, who does a 1:26.7. Next across the line we have out of the field, there's a 1:28.0, and then the other car there was Johnny Stokes with a 1:27.1. Now we have a few more cars out on track. We have the two Williams, both on laps, seem to be following each other around. I don't know if Alex is trying to pull Lattice around, if they're doing that in tandem, or if it is just luck that they've come out of the pits at the same time and have just stayed close together. And Alex does a 1:26.7, and Lattice goes to the top of the times there with a 1:25.1. Next across the line, I think it's going to be Can't Be Touched in the Alpha Tauri. We'll just see what sort of lap time he can do then as the rain does continue to come down. It could be a pretty boring second half of quality with a lot of cars staying in the pits, thinking they're not going to go quicker. We will have to see. And last across the line is McDutchface in the Ferrari, and he is actually just starting a lap, so it'll be interesting to see if he can keep up with the rest and being a lap down time wise. That is quite a nice lap there. So let's see who else. Is anyone out on track doing a lap at the minute? I think Johnny Stokes just returned to the pits. Alex and Lattice appear to be going again, only this time it is Lattice pulling Alex around the track. I would expect Lattice to pull off into the pits here. And Alex does the same, so he chooses not to finish this lap. And they have a little scramble between themselves going into the pits. Just there, so they do. But that is now everyone, I think, heading back to the pits. To wait and see if... Yeah, Canterbury Toucher's going in as well, and is Johnny Stokes pushing on a fast lap? I don't think so, no. Everyone is just starting to make their way back to the pit lane. Yeah, everyone's making their way back to the pit lane there now. So let's see, we have Tommy coming back out, we have Lazo coming back out, and we have the McLaren coming back out, all looking to try and improve on their times before the rain really kicks in and pretty much makes it impossible to improve. Oh, and that's a big spin from the McLaren there. Does he hit the wall? No, he doesn't. He gets away with it. And keep it out of the wall. But that has really ruined that lap for him. And with the rain coming down, will that ruin any chance of improvement for the McLaren? We'll switch to Lazo here then, since he still is on his lap. McLaren will have to abandon that one just to see how he can do. And as Tin Can does start from the session, he's obviously made the decision that he is not going to go any faster. Lazo has disqualified this lap, and so has Tommy. Nobody on track is on a lap that will allow them to improve, so I think this is pretty much going to be it. We'll have to wait and see if it can change at all, but I've got a feeling this might just be it in terms of where people are going to finish in Q2. Look at that hand. Tommy can't even turn that Haas. It is getting very slippery out there. So the McLaren off then in sector 1 again. I think he's just struggling in the damn conditions. He realises he needs to improve like 3/10, but I don't think there's any chance of him improving that time now with this weather. He's just pulling off the track by the looks of it, possibly going to be retiring from the session, and possibly no, still driving. And there you go, he's just retired from the session there out on track. So we currently have nobody out on track now, so there's not really going to be much to say other than this probably looks like our final running order. So it does at the minute, which would mean we would be losing Lazo. We are losing Hugicio in the McLaren, Aldufia, McDutchface and Motzi Perez. Ferrari choosing to come out of the pits now, and it's on medium tires. Does Perez think he's going to be able to do a decent enough lap to see himself into Q3? That's going to be hard to do, especially on the mediums in the wet, but we'll go on board him to see what he can do around this track. It's a bit ambitious though, in my opinion, so it is. I know that, yeah, he's straight off at the first hard break, so he just has zero grip. I do think this is going to be a bit out of his reach here, and he may just have to admit defeat. I wonder if he just go try and put any sort of lap time in, because a lap time will put him one place higher over his teammates. So is he just go try and put a lap time in, even if it is 2 minutes? He has to stay within the track to do that though, and he does appear to be able to struggle to do that if he has that little amount of grip. He ventures off the side of the track there now. And he survived it. Oh, and that's a spin, and that is going to be a wall, I think. Yep. He has survived any terminal damage to the car, but that's once again another lap time which will not be any use to him in terms of making Q3. And those tires are going to be pretty ruined. And that is a Ferrari retiring from the session. The only other car we have on track at the minute is Alex, who's actually came out in the intermediates to see, out of curiosity, if he can improve that time, or maybe just for a bit of wet track practice in case it rains during the race. And that is the end of qualifying 2 then, which means we can already see what our top 10 shootout is going to be. We are losing Lazo, Judicio, Aldefia, McDutchface and Motzi Perez in the second part of qualifying. So you will be left with both Mercedes, both AlphaTauris, both Red Bulls, both Williams, a Renault and a Haas in the third and final part of qualifying. Look how little grip there is out there for Alex. I know I do think that was partially deliberate, but it looks like the way he was revving the car there around the last couple of corners. So there's our final stands in. Lallis once again topping the times with Tin Can just behind. Then you have Avi, Can't Be Touched, RPR Chubb, Scotty Alex, Ares, Tommy and Johnny Stokes rounding out the top 10, then making it through to Q3. And we will have Scotty, Johnny Stokes and Tommy all on the mediums for the start of the race if it is dry. Then you also lose in this session. We have Lazo, Fujitsu, Al Jafia, Mitch Dutchface and Motzi Perez leaving us in this session. And this is it now, and we start qualifying 3. It is still lightly raining, probably intermediate weather if you look at it on track right now, I would guess anyway, which will be interesting. It's the second time we've had a wet Q3 this season. We also had one at France, which is where, if I'm correct, I think Tin Can took pole position. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but that should make it a very interesting Q3 to see who can pull it together all in the wet and get themselves on that pole position. So a few cars heading out on track then. So first out is Axel Tin Can, so we will obviously do our normal and follow him around the track as he is on the intermediates to see what sort of lap time he can set as a benchmark. So here we go, as they're just all making their way around the outlap. It is going to be, so the order they're in, Tin Can will be the first to cross the line, followed by Alex, I think it is, yep. He's then going to be closely followed by Can't Be Touched. Next up will be Lattice to cross the line, followed by Ares and Johnny Stokes. And then you will have Scotty, then you'll have, is it Johnny Stokes? Sorry, it's Chubb. Then you'll have Scotty, and then Johnny Stokes, and then Tommy, followed up lastly by Avi in terms of crossing the line to start a lap. Be all down to if anyone spins or anyone disqualifies their lap to see who'll be the first to set a time, obviously. So here we go, the first planned lap of the session. Then it is XL Tin Can going round on those intermediate tyres. We'll just go on board and watch him as he goes through this lap to see the difference and what the levels of grip roughly are. This is shaping up to be quite a nice lap here so far. So let's see. And he does it, the lap times all just in now then, as we have Alex just coming around to finish his lap then, or about halfway around it. We have we do actually have a Red Bull off the track, but he does appear to recover quite well. So as we kind of come in to the end of the first set of lap times, they are still going round, so these may change as I'm talking, but we have Lattice once again keeping that pole time there. Over 134.6. He has just improved it to a 134, so that does keep him a full 4/10 clear of anyone else. So it'll be interesting to see how they shape up as we go into the second game. Or the second game of times is what I mean by that. So they are all pretty close together if you look at that midfield pack. So from Can't Be Touched in 4th right down to Abby in 8th, there's only a second covering that 4, so it is quite close. So let's see now. So we've exited things inside the pit and wait, and we just refuel and go for another lap. We have Lattice also coming in to do that. Alex is coming around just to the end of a lap now. See if he can improve this time at all on this lap. Nope, there's no improvement there for Alex. Let me see if anyone else is coming round. We have Chubb just going into the pits. With Ares coming on to complete his first lap of the session. We'll see if he can get any sort of representative time on the board to get him a bit further up the leaderboard. It is 137.3, so it does keep him nice and solid at the back then. There. So let's see who else. Johnny Stokes is coming into the pits. Scotty, I would say, will come into the pits to get more fuel as he hasn't validated this lap. Yep, he's making his way in. Next out on track is Avi. We'll see if he is going to finish a lap or just make his way to the pits. So Abby does a 136.0 there, which does bump him right up to 6th in the times. Let's see if anyone else is going around. Alex might still be on a hot lap. No, he's diving into the pits there as well. So I think that's everyone possibly just coming in for a refuel before they go out for a last lap. We'll have to wait and see. So yes, Erez comes into the pits. Tommy is on an out lap, so he's already been in. Chubb is on an out lap, so he's already been in. XL is on an out lap, so Tommy is going to be the next car then to set a flying lap time. So we'll just ride on over with Tommy to see what improvement he can make on his time around here as we go into the last 2 minutes of qualifying. It's now real crunch time for these drivers to see who can get that pole position, which is at the minute being quite well commanded or controlled by Lattice. He's been top of every session so far, I believe. Who's going to ride on board with Tommy here and listen as he goes around this lap? This is shaping up to be a decent lap from Tommy. I don't think it'll take him up to the top of the timings, but it is shaping up to be a pretty decent lap for him in the Haas here to maybe get himself up near that top 5. However, obviously everyone else has still to set a time. Oh, and Tommy does just invalidate this next lap. However, he did do a 1:36.2. He will not get another lap in, so that will be Tommy's last time of the session. There is an out lap there, which means the next car, I think, to come round and complete a lap is going to be XL Tin Can. Yeah, so I think it's going to be Tin Can followed by Lattice as the next two to set a time. So we'll see if Tin Can improve enough to get himself up close to Lattice, as he does go purple through the first sector there, so he is just done the best of anyone through the first sector, so this could be close. See how he can hold it through the next two. And he does go purple through the middle sector as well, so it's shaping up to be a very good lap from Tin Can. The question is, will he be able to hold it, as Lattice then does purple in the middle sector behind him, so they have matched each other, or just battered it. Maybe Lattice is just better than, I'm not 100% certain, through that middle sector now. As the XL Tin Can comes around the last two corners, what will the time be? What will he set JR Lattice to beat? As Tin Can goes and puts himself on pole with a 1:34.3, Lattice coming around the last corner now, can he beat that? He does 1:34.2.10, so Lattice looks like he's taken pole. We have a few more drivers to finish off a lap. We have Can't Be Touched about to come around the last corner now. And he does improve to 4th, 1:35. Alex is about to finish his then as the last car on track. And he puts himself in 3rd, so it's a 1:34.9. It's a very strong showing from the two Williams drivers there, getting themselves on 1st and 3rd, flanking XL Tin Can in 2nd there, with Johnny Stokes bringing up 4th and bringing up the 2nd row. And that is how it's going to finish, folks, with Scotty abandoning his lap there and putting himself in the pits. So here we have our final top 10. Now JR Lattice takes another pole position with a 1:34.210, a 10th ahead of XL Tin Can and the Renault. Then you have that guy Alex and Johnny Stokes on the 2nd row. Can't Be Touched and RPR Chubb bring up the 3rd row, with Scotty and Abby on the 4th. And then you have Tommy and Erez on the 5th row of the grid. And that rounds out and completes our qualifying then for today's race. So there we go, it looks like it's bright and sunny for the race, which is good. A dry race around Silverstone is always good. It normally produces some nice battles with the fast circuit does normally produce some good racing. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen in the battle out front this week. So here we go, it's the session start clock just strips down to 0 there, and the guys start to load in. Then it is time for the formation lap at the start then of the British Grand Prix. So let's run through the order then one more time just as we get ready to go. We have Atlantis in first place, followed by with Excel Tin Can alongside him on the front row. Then have Alex and Johnny Stokes on the second, and Can't Be Touched and Chubb on the third. With Scotty and Abby on the fourth, Tommy and Erez on the fifth, Lazo and Patricio on the sixth row. Then you have Alderfia and McDutchface on the seventh, Motsy Perez and Card on the eighth, Rob and Barry on the ninth, and Woody Mammoth and Bruco Bronco propping up the back at the rear on the 10th row of the grid. So let's just see, we'll get this set up then here whenever they get ready to start the race, to see who gains and who loses at the start. As JR Lattis just leads them around this formation lap. It'll be interesting to see who the big movers are at the start. We saw a lot of movement at the start last race, a couple of people making a lot of jumps, so it will be interesting to see. Pack is spreading out there quite nice as we see Landis is coming up towards Maggots and Beckett's, and Brooker Bronco is just coming around that kink after turn, don't know which number turn it is, but he's coming around that fast right hander now, and Landis is leaving Maggots and Beckett's, so it is a very split up grid. I would say we will see him possibly back it up along this straight to try and minimise the time he's sitting on the grid for the start of the race. So here we go, as they come round to form up the grid then for the start of the race. We shall get ourselves ready to go in round 3 of 12, I believe it is. I think it's only 12 races this season. So round 3 of 12, can Lattis take it 3 wins out of 3, or can Tin Can get him and catch him and take his first win of the season? See if we can get a better camera angle once they all get lined up on the grid for the start of the race. So here we go, we have 1 light, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and they're out and away they go. It appears to be a pretty even start then from Lattis. There's a good start in the back there from an Alfa Romeo. Lattis gets away well from Tin Can and continues to lead into turn 1. Tin Can follow with Alex following up in third. We have a few cars running wide around the back there, nothing extravagant there. As you can see, this is a one-stop race whether you start on the soft or the medium. And as we go round, it appears to be, we have an Alfa Romeo off at the back. Rob appears to be off. William Mammoth the grid is set up to second, but that is wrong. Rob has had a spin at the back there. I'm not too sure if anyone's made contact or not. He has lost half the front wing, so there must have been some form of contact there. I'm not too sure who it was with. So go back to the front of the grid. We can see Brooker Bronco was making moves there in the midfield, just pushing his way past racing point there. See if anyone else has lost. Johnny Stokes was a big loser, lost 3 places in the first couple of corners. They're down to 7th. He must have had a bad getaway at the start. As we go back to the front here to see what the gap is like, we have Lattis starting to make his way up the grid, or sorry, away from XL at the front of the grid. He has a nice wee gap there. We'll just put on the gap now to see what it is. Half a second gap there, with then another further 8/10ths back to Alex. So the front two once again are looking pretty comfortable where they are. So you see the back of the pack there. I don't see anyone struggling through the back there, so they do all appear to have got away pretty well, apart from Rob's collision. I'm not too sure what that was there. So I'm not... As we see, it is a 2v1 with Williams at the front strategy-wise as well. I'm not too sure if Alex and Lala's go in a party together to talk or not. But if they do have a 2v1 strategy-wise at the front there. So we'll have to just see what way that's happening. As you can see, this leaderboard on the left-hand side is a bit buggy. It is just bugging out there at the minute, so we wouldn't pay much attention to that for a couple of laps until it settles down. You see Rob making an early pit stop there down the back of the grid. I would say that'll be a switch to hard tires probably for Rob to try and go long towards the end of this race. And his teammate just having to discourage her off into the side of the track there, just a wee bit wide. And then a spin for Willie Mammoth, and that's both Alfa Romeos not having a great start to this race. As they are down the back of the grid. I'm not too sure what has happened to Rob, but Willie Mammoth appears to just been a sole spin. And that does give Barry a bit of breathing room. He obviously is still at the back of the grid. The game is saying Rob's in first. That's obviously a mistake. Lattis is still leading the race by around half a second over Tinkan, who is staying close with him. This is turned out to quite an interesting battle, and Alex is right behind Tinkan as well. So this is turning out to be a nice wee battle up the front to see who can take this first place if these three can stick together. They just come round to start. Oh, they're all on lap 3 at the minute. Just completed lap 3 there. So we have a yellow flag in centre 3, and we have a racing point off. Barry has had a spin through the last couple of corners. Unfortunate for Barry there. I'm not sure if there was contact on that. Let's see if we can see if he has front wing damage at all. He doesn't appear to have any front wing damage or anything, so it may have just been a sole spin for Barry in the racing point. A few drivers having a few wee spins out there today. See if there's any battles hotting up on the grid then further down in the midfield. We have these couple here, the battle for 12th place heating up between the McLaren, the Red Bull and the Haas. But we're just outside the points, so they'll obviously be looking to pass if they need to, get past the McLaren and move their way further up towards the points. So the McLaren going very wide, and that's going to allow the Red Bull to come right back at him through Magus and Beckett, to be right on the back for the DRS zone. With a couple of 3-second penalties being handed out for track limits there already as well. With the battle up front getting very close again, only 3/10 between the leaders. Tinkan has done a very good job of sticking with Lattis at this stage of the race, putting them under lots of pressure then on those soft tires in the early laps of the race. That is a new fastest lap of the race for Tinkan there, 1:28.627. Let's see if we have any more battles brewing further down the field there. We have Chubb and Can't Be Touched, and Scotty and Johnny Stokes. This 4-car train of 2 Mercedes and 2 AlphaTauris. They are starting to get closer to each other there. This will turn out to be quite a nice midfield battle there. We have Aarons has just dropped 2 places. Has he had a spin in the Red Bull there? I don't see. He was back on track by the time I got to him there. I'm not sure if he has had a spin and lost some time. He does drop all the way down to 17th place there, so I'm assuming it is some form of spin. Let's see who else is going around. We see Barry here having quite a lonely race at the moment after his spin at the last couple of corners there. He is 15 seconds behind the pack and 6 ahead of Willie Mammoth in the Alfa Romeo. Let's see, and Willie Mammoth once again obviously having a pretty relaxing race on his own back there, 19th, 6 off Barry and a full 27 ahead of his teammate Rob, who has obviously already made a stop and gone to the soft tires. Rob is going to 2-stop this, I would say, but he will try and go long on the softs and then go back to the medium tires. Let's see how the battle up front is starting to look now. It is at a 0.7 of a second gap right now, so that gap has increased by about 0.3 of a second, and they are starting to pull away from Alex, who is now 2 seconds behind and under pressure from Can't Be Touched. So that has happened. It'll be interesting to see if Alex can hold on to that third podium position, or if he is playing the roadblock teammate tactic of just holding everyone else back and leaving Alex for a straight one-on-one fight with Tin Can for the win in this race. It'll be interesting to see. So come up the back straight then as we see this, and that is Can't Be Touched getting past Alex, who GC was retired from the session of McLaren. That is through Maggots and Beckett's. Let's see if we can get their car that's coming. There's no cars coming through there to see where his car is, unfortunately. But that is through Maggots and Beckett's, so that looks like a spin maybe through the second or third turn. Just putting him out of the race there. It is just a yellow flag. We're not getting any sort of safety or virtual. Barry's coming through now. I wonder, can he see where the car is? I don't see it there, so it maybe already despawned. So it has on, I think, so well, let's go back to the front of the grid or see where any battles are brave. We have Avi and Tommy getting very close, down in 9th and 10th here at the minute. Avi is on the faster tyre on the softs, however after 6-7 laps they will start to be past their best, and Tommy's mediums should start to come into play with that DRS down the first straight there. However, Tommy goes a wee bit deep, and that will allow Dutch Face right up his backside there through the next couple of turns. The grid is starting to spread out a bit now. We're starting to see gaps form between the different clumps of drivers that drive at the same pace. We have Tin Can and Lattice starting to pull away at the front, and then a clump of 5 drivers between 3rd and 7th, and then another clump of 4 or 5 between 8th and 11th, and then another 1 or 2 here or there. So they are starting to split off into their different clumps that they drive in speed-wise to have their individual battles. That just happens by naturally in these races. And we'll see. We're just going to continue to ride on with Avi here, as he is having a pretty good battle with Tommy, and McDutchface is right behind him in the Ferrari as well. So this has turned out to be quite an intense little battle here. Stick around the last corner. We'll run on board with Dutchface at the back of this group here to see what progress he can make getting through them here. Barry picks up a 3-second time, but their penalties could be crucial in this race. They're quite easy to pick up, so they are on Silverstone. It's not the easiest track to avoid them on because of all the high-speed corners. If you just overstep, you do normally get a warning pretty quickly. Problem Dutchfield has here is, yes, he's going to get DRS and all the DRS straights, and yes, he's going to get the tow, but Avi's getting it from Tommy as well, and then Tommy is getting it from the car in front of him, which means Avi kind of has no one to overtake, but just Beatty's going to sit there, and Dutchface going to find it very hard to get alongside. So Dutchface kind of needs to wait this, maybe play the long game. Avi is on the soft tires and will have to pit sooner and release him. So maybe it's worthwhile playing the long game, not risking anything into any of these corners. However, he has got a bit better drive out of this corner, but the same DRS of Avi just from the car in front is just keeping him quite comfortably ahead there as they come up to the end of the straight. We'll see where other battles are developing up and down the grid. We have Johnny Stokes right on the back of Scotty, well, about half a second off the back of Scotty, as they come round down towards the first DRS. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get himself close enough to Scotty to try any sort of overtake here. I haven't heard the DRS open. Maybe he doesn't get it, but I thought he would have. I think he did, yeah, there was to be noise there. As he is right up the back of Scully now as they go down towards the back section of this track. Let's go switch to the broadcast camera to get a bit of a wider angle view. And we have Barry retiring from the session. That is on the start-finish straight, and that will bring out a full course safety car. Lap 8. That leaves 22 laps to go of this race, isn't that? No, sorry, 18 laps to go of this race. So, will this trigger a dive into the pits for the front runners? We shall go up to Lattice and watch to see if any of these soft tire runners choose now to go into the pits and use this safety car as their free pit stop. Lattice does, followed by Ting Can. Capitas also follows them in. Alex is choosing to go in as well, with Chubb just behind him. Scotty is going in. Johnny Stokes is going in. Lazio is also going in. I think everyone in the top 10, 11 have all pitted. We'll see where the next little clump go. See if you open up penalties in the pit lane. Yep, 11 and 12 both go in. We shall now go down to 13 to see what Carl decides to do. And Carl is choosing to stay out, and this will gain him a lot of positions. However, he obviously will have to stop. The McLaren goes into the pits. Carl is coming round and will gain quite a lot. He'll not take the lead of the race, but he'll gain quite a lot. Arias comes in with Woolly Mammoth. They are still pretty far away from the pits, these boys. However, this will obviously give Woolley and Rob the chance after their early spins to get themselves back on the rear of the pack. I would say Rob will use this chance to take a second pit stop as well, and get himself back up in the fight in this race as such. See Rob just making his way out of the pits here now. This will allow him to catch up to the back of the grid. So we'll just see here as they come round across the pit straight. Rob does have maybe 70% of a lap to try and catch up. However, the safety car is obviously going round again, so Rob will have plenty of time to do that. I would say I can't see any problem with him catching the grid. Same with Woolly Mammoth down there. They should catch up pretty easily, as the leaders are just coming round onto the first straight, or the first DRS straight I should say. So yeah, there's Rob and Craig Willie Mammoth have already caught up with the grid by nearly half a lap in there, and Willie Mammoth is almost on the back of the pack already, and Rob won't be far behind him, I would say. Just run through to see, or just quickly change to see what tires people have decided to put on. We have seen, so the leaders, the front 6 have all gone to the medium tyre, but Carl has still to stop and is on 9 lap old mediums. Scotty Tommy Lazo and Johnny Stokeston have all gone for the hard tyre. Ali's going for the medium, Dutchface has gone to the hard, and then everyone down to the end, bar Woolly Mammoth, has gone to the medium, with Woolly Mammoth going on to the hard tyre. So there's a even enough split. More have gone for the medium. It will be interesting to see if that tyre is tired by the end of the race, how much the hard runners will come into it. As we see, Woolly Mammoth just catching up with the back of the pack now, and that is Rob then just coming up the straight behind him now. So that is everyone on the back of the pack. Safety car is staying out another lap, so the safety car will probably come in next lap now that everyone has caught up there. But this has been a very good race so far. We've seen a lot of position movement. We'll just run through to see who the biggest gainers and losers have really been. So the biggest gainers from the first half of the race, Carl, they're up 10 places, however he has still to stop. Can't be touched and shovel, both gained 2 with Alex losing 2. Leaders have stayed the same. Scotty stayed where he was. Johnny Stokes probably the biggest loser, losing 6 places, down in 10th there. However, obviously Carl in front of him does have to stop, and I'm not too sure if there was any other reason why he is down where he is. So we'll just have to wait and see when the safety car is going to come in. The safety car is still out. We're coming around on lap 11. I would expect it to come in this lap. So I have to just see who the biggest winners and losers will be then out of this safety car restart whenever it decides to come in. We are about to find out if it's coming in. And yes, it will come in this lap. So the safety car will come in this lap. So we'll just switch to onboard view then with Lattice to see when he decides to go for it and roughly when it will be. So let's just see. He's just doing some tyre heating then as they come down the back straight at the minute. Safety car is now entering the pit, so he's got a clear track and he can kind of go whenever he wants. I would expect him not to go this early. However, he has gone for it, and here he goes. Lattice launches out of that corner, so we go to the broadcast camera. He has done very well. He's left Tin Can 6 tenths behind, and he's just cleared himself of any dive into that corner there. Or sorry, in the first heavy braking point of the lap. He's got himself 8 tenths clear already, so he is looking to break that DRS zone as quick as possible. Are the rest all getting through okay? We'll just switch down towards... We have a Ferrari spun. Perez has spun it. Let me see if I can get an onboard here. I'm not too sure what has caused that, however he has spun round. We have Rob and Woolly Mammoth both making their way through. Not the quickest of restarts for them, but I think they are working on their consistency more than their outright pace at the minute, just to see if they can get themselves consistent races. A few lockups there from the Alfa Romeo. We have Scotty being in the place on Carl already. Those newer tyres obviously on Scotty's car helping him there. Let's just see now as they come down to complete the first 2 sectors. Lattice has got himself a 7/10 of a second lead over Tin Can. Once again, Tin Can is holding it within that second, which is obviously making this race very, very unpredictable, because obviously the DRS does become active when he's within that 1 second. We've seen a lot of cars battling out there, Johnny Stokes and Carl and Lazo. Johnny Stokes gaining 1 place, Carl already down to 10th, 11th, but I think he really should have pit under the safety car. I think he is really made a mistake staying out there, because he is just falling down the grid currently. And the gap on the lead out front now is around 1 second. We have a yellow flag there in sector 1. That's for McLaren. I think that's had a bit of a spin. We have Rob going back into the pits. I'm not too sure if that is wing damage for Rob or not. So I'm not. Perez has got Woolly Mammoth, who has had a spin as well. Another spin for the Alfa Romeo of Woolly Mammoth. So he does get back on track and gets it going again. But bouncing over the curves, that won't be too good for the underside of the car, but he has got it going again there. And now the two Alfa Romeo boys now back in this kind of lonely race session here. Rob has get a front wing change, so he has had front wing damage. I'm not too sure if that's been contact with anyone or just a bit of a spin by himself. So let's see. So we're always getting dangerously close to being lapped here. The leader's now coming around towards the last couple of corners. Big lock up there from Alice as he gets into the second to last corner, but he does make the apex quite well and has himself a 1.1 second gap now to Tin Can, which is crucially just outside that DRS zone. However, Can't Be Touched is within Tin Can's DRS zone, so that will make it interesting to see if he can keep Can't Be Touched behind and keep his second place in this race. Follow the leaders just down the back straight here. Then we do have Can't Be Touched having, or sorry, not the back straight, the first DRS straight. We've Can't Be Touched having that DRS on Tin Can to see if that can help him get up. However, a small lock up there, it's not going to help him as he runs down around the bend towards Maggots and Eggots. Chubb up to 4th place, gaining 2. Alex still down in 5th. Scotty has now gained the place to put himself at 6th. Tommy in 7th. Lazo in 8th. Johnny Stokes in 9th. There's a nice wee group of cars there as well going round. Johnny Stokes right on the back of Lazo at the minute. And this is the closest on-track battle we currently have. So obviously things are just starting to spread out a wee bit now as they're kind of in the secondary phase of the race. Everyone's done their pit stop, so I'd say everyone is going to the end. Be interesting to see then what sort of movement they can get. The pit window is now open if you're on a medium one stop strategy. However, anyone that was on the mediums I think has already pit bar Carl. So I would say, oh, we have a McLaren off again. Brooker Broncos had another spin. Let's see if we can switch to him to see, is he going to need to pit? No, he is continuing on in the McLaren. No wing damage, but another spin there. He is struggling for grip there a wee bit. Maybe the tires are just overheated with those couple of spins he's had. And he just safely around the last corner there to start his next lap of the race. So he has recovered from those few spins, but he has lost a lot of time. So let's go down the back. We just saw a car. Was that a car spin off? Yet the McLaren is off again there in the pit lane. And Burger Bronco is having a torrid time around those 3 or 4 corners there. 3 spins. Them tires are going to be absolutely wrecked. Another spin. Is there something broken on that McLaren? Because he is just all over the place at the minute. From such a consistent race to just being all over the place on the grid. I'm not too sure what is causing the sudden spins there, but hopefully he can get it going again and get himself started for the next 10 laps of this race to the checkered flag. Let's just go back to the battle then out front for the podium places. We still have Tin Can within a second and Can't Be Touched within a second of the driver ahead. So this is getting close now between the front excuse me, between the front 3 for those top 3 positions in this race. Lattice again obviously without the DRS because there's no one in front of him, but is doing enough. We'll just switch on this telemetry here to see who is using what battery power. Lattice still has 50% of his battery. She's not having to overuse it to defend, whereas Exulting Can appears to be having to overuse it to try and pass. It's not me playing later in the race. Can't Be Touched has more as well. So the fact that Tin Can has less battery pack left could play into the hands of Can't Be Touched. It's become a couple more laps into this race, and that battery power starts to play a more crucial role. So Brooker Bronco has now retired from the session of McLaren, however he has retired in the pit lane. So he has obviously just decided after those couple of spins that he is going to leave it for the rest of this race. I'm not too sure what has happened to him there. See if we can get an explanation from that from the chat if he fires any messages in. So this battle is starting to heat up now. There's 4 tenths between Can't Be Touched and XL, and 2 tenths between XL and here. And Lattice, here goes XL Tin Can as they come up the back street. He's going to try and run it round the outside of Lattice to lead the race, and he does. He takes the lead of the race on lap 17 with a lovely sweeping manoeuvre round the outside there of the long right-hander at the end of the hanger straight there. Now, Lattice, I'm sure, will come back at him with the DRS down through the next lap or two, so this is going to heat up into a lovely little battle for the lead of this race. There we go, Lattice has his DRS wide open, so this Can't Be Touched, the 3 of them coming around. Then Tin Can takes a just different line, the other 2 through there. It is quite interesting to watch, and I'm not sure if Lattice is pressurised here into making a few mistakes. However, he does have the overtake and the battery power available, so I would say he will now go on the attack and try and reclaim that first position. But this is proving up to be a very nice race here, so it is for the last 8 laps to the checkered flag. And here Can't Be Touched on Lattice, and he takes second place, and Lattice has now dropped to third from first in 2 laps time. That Williams has just absolutely been blown by Tin Can and Can't Be Touched in the Alpha Tauri. Now that is a surprise. Lattice was looking very comfortable in the lead of this race for so long. Can he fight his way back through these two and retake the lead of this race in the last 7 laps? And we have an Alpha Tauri in the pits. Scotty has had to pit. Not sure if that's a front wing change or not, but Scotty has put on the soft tyres and we want to try and fight his way back up. However, he has lost a lot of time being in the pits there, and that's going to be a hard way back for Scotty from that far down. I don't actually think he will have enough time to do it. And we see Lattice now only 4 tenths off the bat of Can't Be Touched, and much better line than Can't Be Touched through that corner, I would say as well. This will be interesting now as they come down the back straight. He is gaining on him slowly. but it's not going to be enough, and Can't Be Touched is actually right on the back of Excel Tin Can. He looks the fastest of those three drivers at the minute. However, small mistake there, saw Lattice think about a dive down the inside, but he's chosen not to. We have a DNF for Mochi Perez in the Ferrari, which means he will drop out, bringing the two Alfa Romeos up in the 15th and 16th. You see now 6 laps to go in this race. So this is shaping up to be a battle between Tin Can, Can't Be Touched and Lattice. However, it is going to be completely impossible to predict who is going to come out on top in this fight. To wait and see here. Tell Lattice is once again right on the back of Can't Be Touched. He is closer now than he has been, only 3/10 off. However, he is now starting to drop back. However, that DRS pops wide open. Interesting to see if he can get close enough, but I think Can't Be Touched is using the overtake and going on the attack, so that might hinder. Oh, a 3-second penalty for both of them at the same corner in front of Lattice, and that puts him technically back in the lead of this race on penalties, and that could be crucial. Lattice is going for the pass. Is he going to make it? Oh, is that? No, I thought they touched for a split second. I thought there was contact, but they've gotten away with it. Now, we see an Alfa Romeo off the side of the track there. I'm not too sure which one that is. Might just be Woolly Mammoth has had a spin and is just making sure he's well out of the way of the leaders of this race. With yellow flags in sector 2 and 3, we have an Alfa Romeo. Carl has had a spin in Magnussen Becker. Let's quickly switch to him. He doesn't really wing damage, it is just a spin. Looks of it. Let's quickly get back to leaders. We don't want to miss any of this action out front. This is shaping up into a brilliant three-way fight for the win of this race. As they are getting closer by lap, Lattice is now less than 2/10 off the back of Can't Be Touched as they enter Magnussen Beckett. How close can he keep it through the quick corners there? That is another much better line for Lattice through that corner, and the DRS pops wide open. This is the closest he's been. He's going to be literally right on top of him. They go side by side into the corner. Lattice has the inside line and retakes second place in this race. Now, can he close down and hunt down that Renault in front of XL Tin Can? Or will he stay in second and take the win via penalties? Here they go again. It's now only 3/10 the gap. He is closing in on Tin Can. I think Lattice has decided now is his time to attack by the looks of it, and now as he is now looking like the quickest of the three drivers in this winning fight. However, Tin Can has a good couple of corners there and does bring the gap out to just over 4/10, so it does start to close up again as they come through down towards Magnussen Beckett. That's got a lovely line. The DRS pops wide open for Lattice there. Obviously Tin Can will have none in front, and as they get very close down the end of the straight, but he's just a little bit too far back to put any sort of pressure on for an actual pass. Let's just go on board with Lattice for a while now to see if we can watch this happen. They both lock up into that corner a wee bit, but that shouldn't have affected either of them massively there. and Alex is just retaking 4th place, or is having a 4th place battle with Chill. I don't know if this is happening behind. I think we're side by side here on the DRS straight. Alex has the DRS, so that may help him just pull away from Chill. Chill is sticking with him quite well though, to go down towards the corner. He will have the inside line, and then that will give Alex the inside for the next corner, and I think that's that battle over now. Then Chill is just going to have to tuck in behind Alex for another while to see if he can have another go at it in a couple of corner or a lap or two's time. We have 3 laps to go, and there is Lattice with the DRS just blowing past Tin Can to retake the lead of this race. He does the quickest out of the 3 there at the minute now, and I do not see them getting back past him within these next 3 laps. However, with DRS advantage and the fact that none of them really have a huge amount of battery power left, it could be a very, very interesting last couple of laps to see who crosses the line in first, and not necessarily be who finishes first with penalties and stuff, but who crosses the line in first of this race. Here we go, as we come round to an end lap 24, Lattice continues to take the lead there, or continues with the lead. 1.3 is the current gap though. They are very, very, very close between these front 3 there. We see Chubb has now completed that move on Alex. However, Alex is currently battling him back. They once again go side by side. Around the last couple of corners, Chubb's going to try and hold it around the outside. That's a hard move to make, and he does just fall in behind Alex. However, he is right on the back of him. We'll follow this fight for a lap or 2, or sorry, for about half a lap here before we go back to the leaders to see how the race finishes. Let's just see. Oh, and we have, I've just noticed how close Can't Be Touched is here, so I'm just going to switch back to this. He is right on the back there. He gets that DRS wide open on back. Lattice is going to be under a lot of pressure from Tin Can for the lead of this race. Tin Can goes into it, they go side by side. Can Lattice run around the outside? He can, and he retains the lead. That will bring Can't Be Touched so close. They have a tiny wee bit of contact, but no damage there on either car. Look how close this is developed the lead. They're all within half a second of each other. This is absolutely amazing. And I would say the drivers will be absolutely loving this as they're racing. Oh, and Tin Can just blows past him halfway through Maggots and Beckett's. What happened there? Did Lattice just get a little bit out of shape? Did he? Because Tin Can has just blown by him within Maggots and Beckett's. And it Can't Be Touched going close as well. No, he can't. But as they come round now to start the final lap of this race, and there we go, we start the final lap of the race. It looks like it is going to be a Lattice win regardless because of penalties. However, I would say Tin Can will keep second, and Can't Be Touched may get third. However, Alex is closing that gap, and without penalties, this could be close. Alex could get second place in this race still, you know, in the other Williams, because them penalties are going to play a big part in this race. However, Tin Can is now opening the gap out to a second, but I think that is probably because Lattis not too worried about overdoing it and making a mistake, because he knows the win of this race is his regardless of what happens. And I think Tin Can's going to hold on to second as well. However, I cannot be certain here. If they do come up the hanger straight, it will be Tin Can crossing the line first. However, I do not think he will be taking first in this race because of penalties, unless Lattis picks something up here through the last couple of corners. So here we go, as we come round across the line. XL Tin Can does cross the line and take the win of this race. However, Lattis will jump above him with penalties. Can't be touch crossed in third. Can Alex get within a second? He can, and Alex puts himself on the podium. It is a double podium for Williams, who can't be touching the fourth, and RPR Chubb in fifth. Can Tommy Kimmelman keep that sixth position? There he is under pressure. It'd be interesting to see if he'd keep that. Yes, they can. He can keep that. Tony keeps that. Johnny Stokes coming in 9th, and Avi rounds out the points in 10th. Ernest comes home in 11th. Scotty looks like he's going to come home then in 12th. However, we are just waiting for these guys to cross the line. And we have Rob crossing the line in 15th. That means William Mammoth will come 16th. Scotty has just crossed the line in 12th, with Al Dufia coming home in 13th, which means Carl will take 14th in this race. But a double podium for Williams at Silverstone, the British Grand Prix. The British team take the double podium. What a race that was. They were so close to each other all race. It was absolutely brilliant to watch. But Dutch Face does get the driver of the day there then for that race. So let's go through now then the final grid then to see how everyone lined up then. So with JR Lattis taking the win there, with XL Tin Can coming home in second, and Knock Alex coming third to give Williams the double podium. Can't Be Touched comes home in fourth, with RPR Chubb in fifth, with Dutch Face in sixth, with Lazo in seventh, Tommy in eighth, Johnny Stokes in ninth, and Avi in 10th, brought being out the points. Just outside the points you have Eris in 11th, Scotty in 12th, Aldefia in 13th, Carl in 14th, Rob comes home in 15th, with Rudy Mammoth in 16th, Motzi Perez in 17th, Brooker Bronco in 18th, and Barry Burbs in 19th, and finally GCO in 20th. The bottom four drivers, they're all DNFing from the race. Next week we head to Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix at 8 PM next Monday, and we will see you then. Hope you've enjoyed this one.